It may not be the Rose Bowl, but nevertheless, Penn State is playing in its 50th bowl game. The number 10 Nittany Lions will square off against the 17th ranked Memphis Tigers in the 83rd Cotton Bowl Classic. Welcome back to this edition of Penn State Sports Night. I'm Hunter Pitcoff, kicking it here with Jeremy Ganes. Now, obviously, the Memphis spread offense, it's one of the most explosive in the country, Jeremy. But I want to know, how can Penn State's defense slow it down?
Well, there's a couple things they have to do. They have a lot of key players on offense. Coxie, the wide receiver for them, is a great player. Kenneth Gainwell does a little bit of everything for them. Great in that run game, but also good out of the backfield as a receiver. So he's someone Penn State has to watch out for. There are a lot of weapons to look out for, but the overall passing game isn't overly dangerous. But making that team, the Memphis Tigers, one-dimensional and really forcing them to throw, it'll make things easier for Penn State a little bit to know what's coming. Obviously, the secondary has struggled a little bit, and it's really the glaring weakness for that defense this season. But if they're able to kind of, have a better idea of what's coming and force the issue on Memphis, it'll make things a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, Jeremy, Memphis is a team that their explosive plays actually come from the running backs. It's not really the receivers. It's more of two-step dropbacks, get the ball out quickly when it comes to the passing game. So for Penn State, you don't have to overdo it when it comes to the pass rush. 4 guys will get the job done, and it's going to be a lot of one-on-one situations. So Penn State's corners and their linebackers need to win those one-on-ones in order to slow down this Memphis offense. But let's literally flip sides of the field here. How can Penn State's offense rebound after a couple hard aches during the last couple games?
Well, there's a really important thing that Penn State needs to do. They've been able to do it sometimes, and that's establish the run game. Jeremy Brown has had a good collection of games to end the season and is kind of on a roll. He's the guy that Penn State needs to ride as much as they can in this game and trying to get him going. If he's able to get up into the hundreds and really have a solid game, they're going to be looking good for that pass game. You don't want to force the issue onto Sean Clifford too much. We don't know fully the extent of his health. It seems like he might have been able to play in the final week of the regular season against Rutgers, but still, that offense is more successful when there's a run-pass balance and you're not chucking the ball up too much. But Penn State is able to create some big plays through the pass game. It'll be because of a successful play action and creating good matchups.
Yeah, Jeremy, I've been saying, just like you said, every single Penn State football segment I do, Penn State needs to establish the run and stick to it for the entirety of the game. Memphis wants to play a shootout. They want to play a fast break, up and down type of game. However, with that being said, Penn State can play that game. However, they have a much easier time if it's a rugged, ugly game. They've proven to win those as well. And again, don't force it in the pass game. I 100% agree with you on that point. Now, Jeremy, in games like the Cotton Bowl and big New Year's Six bowl games in general, the good players always get separated from the great players. So I want to know, who you think will be the MVP of this game when it's all said and done?
With as many good offensive players Memphis has, I'm tempted to go with one of those guys, but I think Jeremy Brown's really going to be the most important player in this game. Like I kind of alluded to before, if he's able to have a big 100-yard game, get a couple scores, you're probably looking at him as the MVP, and he would probably be the reason that Penn State is able to win. I just think that if he's able to get a healthy amount of carries, which he has gotten in recent weeks as he's taken over that number 1 running back spot, you're going to have a more effective Penn State offense. A kind of game where you have maybe a few less scores, but Penn State's able to control it down to an individual possession. Maybe one big play makes a difference. That's the kind of game they're going to be able to win. And, if you're riding Jeremy Brown in a game like that, you're probably going to be successful.
Yeah, Jeremy, if Penn State listens to your advice, Jeremy Brown could definitely get it, because that means a lot of carries coming his way. I'm going to flip it over to defense. And like I said earlier, these defensive players for Penn State need to make tackles in the open field. And that's why I think Micah Parsons will ultimately be the MVP of this game. I think he's going to put up those gaudy numbers. Penn State's going to use him all over the field. And I ultimately think he'll be holding that MVP trophy, if you will, when it's all said and done. But last but not least, Jeremy, final score prediction.
I think it's going to be somewhat high scoring, but Penn State will actually be able to pull it out. It's not the kind of situation they necessarily want, but they are capable of winning those kinds of games. I think they will be able to establish the run in this one, because Memphis is, if anywhere, vulnerable. They're vulnerable against the run game. So I think they're going to run the ball as much as they can. And a touchdown favorite sounds pretty good for Penn State. They win 35-28.
I'm going to go a little lower scoring, actually. I'm going to go 31-20. And again, Penn State, they're going to be tempted. Memphis is going to give them the big play if it's available. And they're going to be more likely to hit with Sean Clifford. However, don't fall into the trap if you're Penn State. Stick to your roots. Stick to what's got you here in general. Establish the run, and the big plays will come, and pick and choose your spots. Just a reminder for you all watching, the Cotton Bowl will kick off at noon on December 28th at AT&T Stadium. That's going to wrap it up here for Penn State Sports Night, the last time this decade. For Jeremy Ganes, I'm Hunter Pitcoff, and thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching our latest edition of Penn State Sports Night. If you're a fan of our content, please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more clips. Also follow us on Twitter at PSSN TV and on Instagram at PSU Sports Night to keep up with the action. For all my colleagues, we are Penn State Sports Night.